A particle accelerator is a device that accelerates and collides subatomic particles within a powerful magnetic field. Scientists track the traces of particle collisions to study the characteristics of particles or even discover new particles. An example of a prominent particle accelerator is the LHC, Large Hadron Collider, operated by Cern. Particles within a particle accelerator are accelerated to speeds close to the speed of light. If a person were to enter a particle accelerator and were to be hit by these particles, what would happen? On July 13, 1978, the 36-year-old Russian scientist Anatoly Bugosky accidentally put his head into a particle accelerator. At the time, Bugosky was working at a high-energy physics laboratory in Russia. On the day of the accident, he was inspecting the proton accelerator, which was experiencing issues. Normally, this device should have been turned off during inspections, but for some reason, it was still operational. Furthermore, the safety alert system had been deactivated after a previous experiment and had not been restored to its original state. Unaware of this, Bugosky proceeded with the inspection, and in an instant, invisible protons penetrated his head. He didn't feel any pain, but he quickly realized that something was terribly wrong. When the protons passed through his head, he saw a light brighter than 1,000 suns. However, he didn't tell anyone about the incident. He quietly finished his work and went home, where he began to keep a diary, silently waiting to see what would happen. The symptoms promptly began to manifest themselves. That night, his left cheek began to swell gradually, and he couldn't sleep throughout the night. The next morning, he hurriedly visited a specialized radiation clinic in Moscow. The test results revealed that Bugosky had been exposed to a dose of radiation ranging from 200,000 to 300,000 rads. No one in history had ever been exposed to such a high-energy, concentrated beam of radiation. Therefore, doctors expected that he would die from it. But contrary to their expectations, Bugosky did not die. He narrowly avoided death because the proton beam passed through an extremely narrow area, allowing him to survive. However, he did suffer from very serious long-term consequences. The proton entered from the back of his head, exited through his nose, and damaged brain tissue and nerves. While the wounds on the back of his head and face gradually healed over time, he experienced paralysis on the left side of his face, lost hearing in his left ear, and occasionally suffered seizures. Fortunately, his level of intelligence did not change significantly compared to before the accident. 18 months later, Bugosky returned to work, but he had to receive medical treatment at the hospital more than twice a year. According to the policies of the Soviet government at the time, Bugosky was not allowed to disclose anything about the accident for over 10 years. However, after the Chernobyl accident, the details of his accident were revealed to the world for the first time. Unfortunately, Bugosky is currently struggling to make a living. His disability application was denied, and budget cuts at the Research Institute have made it challenging for him to afford his medications. Despite the various long-term effects, Bugosky is now 78 years old and is living without major life-threatening issues.